Have you, yes, you, ever wanted to get good at Freeplay? Well now, for only $5,000 a second, wait, never mind, for free, you can learn. Funny intro over. Hi, I'm Dogs. Welcome to Freeplay University, the series that aims to be a spiritual successor to Mackan's old Freeplay tutorial videos. This series will be a general tutorial in Freeplay, as well as going into a lot of specifics. I won't just be telling you stuff, I'll be explaining the reasoning behind it. Skip to the timestamp on screen if you want to skip to the first lesson, because I'm going to yap for a little bit about the structure of the series now. Also, sorry that my voice is so nasally right now, I've got a really bad cold. So, this series is going to be broken up into a lot of episodes. This one will be a very broad look at Freeplay, and talking about heroes, towers, maps, game modes, monkey knowledge, stuff like that. Future ones will delve into strategies, advanced techniques, and different game modes. Currently the plan is Episode 1, broad look and Freeplay basics. Episode 2, farming in challenge Freeplay and in general Freeplay, featuring the steel. Episode 3, setup building, including temples, ninjas, and the more recently discovered hybrid setup. Episode 4, chimps Freeplay, featuring Chin Man, the old world record holder. Episode 5, restricted space Freeplay, including cornfield and other such challenges, featuring Rogue 9876. And Episode 6, challenge Freeplay, like limited towers, category specific, stuff like that, featuring Lieutenant Koro. And that's all I've got planned for now. There might be more in future if I think of more episodes, or if you give me suggestions for more episodes. This series will sometimes be broken up by other videos in between, but I'll try and keep my very loose 2-week upload schedule. If I need to, I'll make some filler videos to help pad the gaps. If one episode is taking longer than normal, I'll make a community post about it. Also, before we start, I started a Discord server for Freeplay Database. It's linked in the description. You should join. Now, enough yapping. On to the first episode. In this episode, we'll be covering maps, heroes, game modes, monkey knowledge, rounds, monkeys, and leaderboard details. So, what makes a map good for Freeplay? There are 3 main factors and 2 minor factors. The main factors are map length, measured in red balloon seconds. Red balloon seconds is how long it takes for a red balloon to get through the entire map on round 1. It's a measurement of how long the track is, being how long you have to attack the balloons. Placeable space, being how many towers you can place and how good those spots are for towers. And track overlap, which is how often balloons go over the same spot while travelling through the map. The minor factors are line of sight blockers, being objects that obstruct towers' line of sight, and the amount of water on the map. For Freeplay, there are 4 main maps that are discussed: Scrapyard, Resort, Spar Pits, and finally, Logs. The key points for these maps are: Scrapyard has the longest track in the game at 66.8 RBS. However, it has barely any placeable space, has bad overlap, has no water, and it has a lot of line of sight blockers. Resort has a shorter track than Scrapyard at 59.8 RBS, but has really good track overlap and buildable space, and it doesn't have many line of sight blockers, and it has a lot of water. Resort mainly falls off due to the final and longest loop being really far away from the rest of the track for most of it, meaning that a lot of projectiles go to waste. Spar Pits. Spar Pits has a slightly longer track than Resort at 60.9 RBS, and has a very good overlap, has a lot of water, and a lot of buildable space. It also has central water, which is less important, but still nice to have, to put the True Sun God on to get their carrier flagship buff, and to buff the whole map. It also has the niche bonus of having the exit very close to the entrance, so that the Spikagon ability is more effective. It also has an invincible area of the track at the beginning, making it very easy to store for abilities. Spar Pit's main downside though is its track length, and the 5 stone pillars that block placements. And finally, logs. The established, in most scenarios, best map for Freeplay. Logs has the second longest track in the game at 66.4 RBS, beaten only by Scrapyard. It has really good track overlap and really good placeable space. It has water, unfortunately not enough to get a max degree boat paragon, but it's very close, and that water is also central. It has some line of sight blockers with the logs, but they barely impact the track visibility. The only downside of logs is that the exit is far away from the entrance, so that the spike paragon is less efficient in its abilities. For all these reasons, logs is generally considered the best map for easy freeplay and old chimps freeplay, and Spar Pits is considered the best for new chimps freeplay. Now onto heroes. The hero you choose is one of the things I see so many people making mistakes on. The 2 factors that go into hero selection are how much damage they can deal, and how much they can support your other towers to do damage. Based on these factors, we can evaluate all the heroes. Quincy does okay damage with max buffs, but that's all he brings. Will be outdamaged by a Bloonjitsu. Gwen. Heated Up buff gives a small amount of damage as a buff, but won't do much. Striker Jones. Pierce. That's it. No. Oben. Oben does barely any Wait a second, never mind. I have just been informed Oben's damage is actually cracked now thanks to the Druid Paragon. He deals 534 damage per attack. Unironically, the second highest DPS hero in the game when max buffed. However, because he doesn't buff many towers, and the towers he does buff aren't used in Freeplay, he's not very good. Churchill. The most powerful hero when unbuffed. Has no support and falls off when buffed. Benjamin. The inexperienced player trap. He makes money, that's it. No damage, no support. In Freeplay, you already have millions of money, so there's no point in using Ben. Pat Fusty does mediocre damage, but it has a damage buff ability that actually got a buff recently to affect everything in its range when range buffed. Could be used in some very niche setups, similar to Gwen, but not going to do much. Admiral Brickle used to be decent when her naval tactics could buff water temples, but after it got changed she really fell off. She can still be used with destroyer or aircraft carrier strategies, but she's nowhere near as good as she used to be. Sorda does damage, not enough though. Psy, another trap. They do percentage based damage, which is good, except they do nothing to bad balloons, which is bad. Bad balloons are the main issue in Freeplay. If you don't know what a bad is, I'll get to that later. Just know they are the main threat. Geraldo. This might be controversial in the non-elite Freeplay scene, but he sucks. Just objectively, he's bad. The only actual reason to use him is a kinda cool interaction between him and the sub-paragon that can make his shooty turrets do much more damage. His paragon power totems do barely anything with +9 degrees for all paragons, and his rejuvenation potions don't refresh fast enough for them to be very useful. Corvus, micro-intensive and just bad DPS. Rosalia, bad DPS. She gives a buff to Ace tier 5s, but they're not used in the final setup. Silas, bad DPS, can give Isogon 1 extra degree with the Ice tier 5 extra, but it isn't worth it. And then there were 3. If you were watching keenly, You'd know that I skipped 3 heroes: Adora, Azili, and Etienne. That's because they are objectively the best 3. Starting with Etienne, not as good as the other 2, but can be used with ninja and hybrid setups to get insane shinobi ratios. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it in episode 3. He is used exclusively for his range buff. Adora, easily the best casual free play hero. She's the best raw DPS hero when paired with a Subagon, and she gives an insane buff of 2x attack speed to all Sun Avatars, Temples, and the True Sun God / Vengeful True Sun God. Unfortunately not very usable in Chimps though, as a blood sacrifice costs money to use. And finally, Azili. The hands down best free play hero if you have time and effort to sell and rebuy her. On her own, she has abysmal DPS, but a sacrificial totem can give good buffs, and a hard stopper can be a game changer early. Just kidding, hold your stones and tomatoes. Azili shines with her Marb Hex ability. 5% of the targeted balloon's HP per second for 25 seconds. And if that balloon pops, it moves on to the next one following her targeting. Oh, and did I mention you can sell and rebuy her for as many abilities as you want? That's a little bit broken. Unfortunately, when you rebuy her, you can't use a totem. So to sum it up, for the best 3 heroes, Etienne for range buffs, Adora for temple attack speed, go brrr, and raw DPS, and Azili for fuck you setup, you're on your own, give me money and I'll contribute half of the DPS of the entire setup. Game modes time. This is pretty simple. If you want to get as far as possible, easy standard. If you want a challenge, Chimps. If you're Masochist, Apocalypse. And if you want to flex on your friend with the badge next to your name, Impoppable. That was very fast. Monkey knowledge now. As a general rule, you want to get all of them. If you don't have time or are just very impatient, then here are the ones to rush. There can be only one. Allows you to build the Vengeful True Sun God. Deadly Tranquility. Gives Bloonjitsus an extra shuriken. Door Gunner. Very useful for farming. Better Cell Deals. Extra cell back. Big Balloon Sabotage. Less health for the bads. What not to love. Flanking Maneuvers. Extra attack speed for military monkeys. Veteran Monkey Training. Extra attack speed. And that's about it. Also, make sure you get the monkey knowledge before you start your run. If you get it midway through the run, it will not apply. On to rounds now. Random rounds start after 140, with exceptions at 163, 200, and 263, which have set balloons. In general, the further you go, the more balloons will be on a round. Also, the further you go, the more health and speed the balloons will have until you die. The rounds are based on your map's save seed. I've made a website where you can, among other things, check the random rounds ahead. I'll have a video I made on how to do that in the description. If you're doing your first serious free play run, a good round to aim for is in the 300s to 400s. Though with a little bit of experience, you can crack the 500s pretty easily. As for monkeys, I'll go more in depth in episode 3, but I'll explain the basics, as well as what to avoid here. Firstly, Paragons. Get all of them except for Dark Paragon if you're doing a hybrid or ninja run, and Druid Paragon if you're using Azili. If you're doing a temple run, you can get it in the temple's footprint. The Spike Factory Paragon should be used at the end of the map, targeted to as far back as possible, if you can get it in Subagon range. If not, just in the middle of the map in Subagon range. This will allow it to catch leaks if needed. NG should be in range of Sub Paragon, as should TAC and Boomer if possible. Don't worry about them if not though. Sub-Paragon should be submerged, VTSG and Sentry Champion should be close to the Navarch, and the Navarch should be on last. The Ace Paragon should be placed in the corner, on centered path, going against the path of the Bloons. Ice should be in the middle-ish, and Bomb should be wherever it can hit the most bads with its ability. Even if it sacrifices the DPS, it could do itself in a good spot. The other main towers are Attack Zone, Super Mines, Primary Expertise for the big range Jungle Drums buff, Homeland, Sentry Champion, VTSG obviously, Ultra Boost, Cripple Moab, Gluestorm, Carrier Flagship, Permabrew, Grandmaster Ninja, and in hybrid and ninja setups, Grand Sabo. If you can't get your VTSG on water, then Lord of the Abyss. For Azili setups, before you start rebuying her, Final Harmonic. The most common towers that people get in Freeplay that aren't worth it, or at least not for the intended reason, are Incineration. It removes the fortified status from BFBs and below, but does nothing to bads. Never get this tower in Freeplay. XXXL Trap. One-shot ZMGs and belows, does nothing for bads. Do not get this tower either. And BMA, which also one-shot ZMGs and below. However, the only one that's actually worth getting is BMA in hybrid and ninja setups. However, that's just so that it can get rid of the ZMGs that pop from regular bads, so the Bloonjitsu Pierce isn't being wasted on insides. People get it because they think that it does good damage, but it just stealed pops. For temple setups, you don't need it, just don't get it. Finally, leaderboard details. As I mentioned before, I run the Freeplay database, which is also a leaderboard site. I talked about it in this video, but I'll say it again. Tech bots and farmers are allowed in Powerless. Their pro versions are allowed up to 100 for farmer and 030 for tech bots. Double Cash and Fast Track are both counted as powers, as are Insta-Monkeys, as are Continues, as are the new perks. If you use a bug, major bugs that is, not minor ones that have been in the game for years, then the run will be classified as bugged. Normally, runs will take a day or two to add. I would like to apologise to the people who submitted their runs between the 8th of May and 22nd of May, as their runs got heavily delayed with adding, as I was on holidays, and then I got sick. I'm recording this on the 24th, and I'm still sick, but I have added all the runs now. Also, if you use mods, just tell me what mods they are. Same with save editing. The run will be marked as using QOL mods, and a note will be added stating what mods or edits were done. Using QOL mods is fine, I use them, but it's just good to know what they are. And that's about it. Now I'm going to go watch a movie, have some lunch or dinner, have a nap, work on the script for episode 2, and probably still be in Australia during my flight. That script was written while I was on the plane, going from Australia to Europe. Episode 2 will be out in a few weeks. Have a good one, and see ya! Before we go, Fafnir, what is the most important step of Btd6 Freeplay?
To use code DOGS in the Btd6 shop when buying 500,000 monkey money for cash drops, because the farming episode hasn't released yet and you don't know how to farm.